What is good, everybody? Welcome back to Leadership Lounge Live. I am your host, Lewis, over here at Martial Artistry. I want to thank everybody so much for being here. I am just getting these links, getting ready to pop in the chat. Definitely want to give everybody a couple of minutes to get popped in here. But man, what an amazing week! So much has changed in the last 48 hours alone. It's just been wild. Have you guys heard about Sora? Man, that is going to change content forever. I'm seeing some of my YouTube friends, they are like so excited for Sora to come out. So I know that's something that we'll be talking about at some point during this week. What's up, Andrea? How are you this afternoon? I did pop the groups in the chat. I am monitoring both phones, so I'm really excited about this week. How has your week been so far, Andrea? Let me know in the comments. Um, Last week, I know we had a pretty rough feed. It was one of those, hey, what can go wrong episodes, but I did get a bunch of clips out and I actually found a format that works a little better. You guys will have to let me know what you think of those clips versus the week prior. I tried it a little different way this past week. A little more work, but I actually like this result a lot better. So it is something that I can tell you um, we did it in CapCut. I did most of it in 2 sittings, maybe about an hour and a half, 2 hours worth, but I put out 17 clips for you guys. There was a lot of information in between all those little dead spaces worth of air. So, Andrea, I did go back and see your video. Those are actually really good. I like the setup in the car. I'm curious how do you have your phone mounted in the car? The video came out really good. So thank you for sharing that. Definitely tag me next time you have a live. I'd love to come by and just show some support. Um, let's see what else. Um, Last time before Super Bowl Sunday, I know we were talking a lot about content and monetization, and so I do want to touch on that, but I think we'll do that later in the feed. I know that people are windshield mount. Okay, yeah, I like that. I know that people are still kind of popping in. It's All Star weekend, so a lot of people are kind of tapping in at various periods of time because I got other stuff going on. So I am gonna try and keep this to about an hour worth of a feed. I will clip everything up and put it on my profile during the week, and I'll drop it in my group as well as in the Visionaries group. So hey, Vanette, um, I do want to just say thank you to everybody who has been showing support and commenting and just engaging with our content. I did post this week. Our engagement has just been absolutely through the roof. And so I want to stop and just say thank you so much for all of the tags. It's definitely something that keeps me going. And I look forward to every day just going back in and responding to comments and answering questions. I do get a lot of content for future live streams that come out of those comments and questions that you guys send in. So definitely keep those things going. I also want stars over the last month and a half. It definitely has been helpful. I know that we will be able to purchase some of the stuff that we're going to need to improve this live stream. So I just want to stop and say thank you and tell you guys that hey, I really appreciate it and look forward to growing this over the coming months and for the indefinite future. For this week, I posted on Monday, Mythpunk Monday set. And so I got a lot of questions about, hey, what is the Mythpunk art style. So I did a little research for you guys, and I intend on doing another set for this coming Monday, but I don't think it'll be myth punk. I'm going to highlight a different style. And maybe the second half of the week, I will highlight a separate style so that we can continue to learn and grow together. So, about the myth punk art style. It is an art style that blends elements of mythology, folklore, and fantasy with punk. So it often incorporates fantastical elements such as magic and mythical creatures and supernatural phenomenon. Those things are something that help me be more creative within the artwork. I often will use this style in conjunction to really give a unique feel. The other thing is it's usually in a rich, immersive world or landscape. So here are some of the punk sensibilities that come out of this style. Some of these things could be that the individual, the subject that I'm prompting in this style is rebellious or showing a flair for individualism. Um, they're critiquing social against the system, if you will. So it gives you an opportunity to give a feel or a vibe to your image without using a lot of words. If you're using the style, saying it's in the style of myth punk, it may give you some of these elements naturally versus having to actually text and prompt those things in. Some of the other things that I'll often get is they reflect a lot of diversity and inclusivity. So those are things that are very important to my brand and what I talk about and what I spread. Um, I'm often trying to create imagery that is constructive and positive and happy and give a real vibe. So this is one of the ways that I accomplish that is through prompting it in the style of myth punk. Um, the other thing that this style does is it showcases that you're able to amplify voices of those that may be marginalized. That's something that's also really important for a lot of the people that I engage with on Facebook. They themselves may be part of a marginalized community, and so they might be trying to figure out artwork. So this is another way that they can do that and express that through their artwork by using a style like this. I just want to stop and say hey to Vanette, hey to Virginia, and hey to Amy or Ami. Just wanted to say thank you for popping in today. We are talking about the myth punk style. If you go back in my page, you'll see a lot of images punk style. So I also posted a lot of images that were very realistic in this myth punk style. You saw quite a few that were within frames, but on the wall of a scene that is uniquely different, very vibrant, very colorful, a lot of detail in the background. These were all done in the myth punk style, and those particular images, I believe I put the two or three styles that I put together, but myth punk, mass surrealism, those are two that I will put together a lot of times because it gives me a very unique feel. Do you guys have any questions on myth punk or how to use it or what it kind of reflects? I'm just curious. Let me know in the comments. Definitely stars are encouraged during the live stream. It definitely helps us grow. If you're not already following me, please do so. I did put the groups in the chat. I'm also going to stop and write this style in so that you guys can copy it and paste it into your own clipboards. That makes sense? Mythpunk art style. All right, I saw the hearts while I was typing, so thank you. I'm glad everybody's keeping up. What else? Vanette, I gotcha. Okay, cool. The other art style that I used a lot this week, and these were a lot of older images that I'm repurposing now that I'm starting to get more of a reach and I can teach more people at once. The other art style that I used a lot this week was Frostpunk. Frostpunk is another art style that I really highlighted in December and the beginning of January, and I'm now revisiting it again because I got told that in Seattle this last week it tried to snow, and it's in the middle of February. So it just made me think of Frostpunk. So I did a bunch of repurposing content around the Frostpunk style. I'm going to put that in the chat, and then I'm going to go into the details on what that style entails. Everybody keeping up? Are you getting some value out of this? Ooh, it snowed where you at, Annette? Ooh, I don't want no parts of that. I hope everything's good. Try and be safe out there. I know you're running back and forth to work, so definitely be safe. All right, so Frostpunk art style is a steampunk inspired survivalistic cityscape or frozen world that is emphasizing resource management, tough choices, and societal dilemmas. So that's a lot. I know that's a lot. So that way we can kind of cover how I use this style. So in the background, you're going to see a lot of old Victorian steampunk, uh, technological and industrial equipment behind just to kind of set the tone. Um, I have found that with Frostpunk, you'll get a lot of post-apocalyptic type scenes where there's not a lot of resources. Um, People are stretched very thin, and there's typically the two groups, the haves and the have-nots. And so I am typically trying to reflect an image from the perspective of the have-not. There, most of the time in the world, there are more have-nots than there are haves. So I try to with the from the perspective of the have-not. Does that make sense? Let me know in the chat if that kind of makes sense, what you might see. And I'm going to keep reading ahead. So it's societal dilemmas are exploring ethical and moral decisions. Does that make sense? The main subject is going to have to make some very difficult choices. And so when I'm prompting, I'll use this in conjunction with Mythpunk. I'll use them together because they kind of they're the same, but they're different in how the environment is. But the thing that they're very similar in is they're coming from the perspective of, hey, there's not a lot of resources, and it's kind of a fantasy scene that you may not have seen before from somebody else's artwork. I always try to aim towards being unique and not really using what other people have already created. So that's really where these two styles may put you a little farther ahead. Let me know if that makes sense. The other thing is I really try to focus on what does the main subject, what do they hear? What do they see around them in this scene? If I'm prompting for something that is uh, an ethical question, I'll really prompt what does the person see, what are they feeling, so that maybe Midjourney will give me back that in the form of a facial expression. So a way that you can create engagement in your content without typing it is through the imagery, I have found. So I'm really able to convey what is the person feeling, what are they thinking, are they happy, are they sad, are they feeling anxious. These are all things that I will actually put in the prompt when I'm using these two art styles. I know it comes across a little more effective with Frostpunk, but with Mythpunk, you can really get it to come across the same way. That's really what I tried to reflect earlier this week on Monday with Mythpunk Mondays. It it really was more about the style, but reflecting happiness. I tried to reflect that all of the main subjects were happy and smiling. I did not do a lot of different layers to each of the images to reflect there's a lot of diversity in this art style, both of the art styles, but specifically with Frostpunk, there's a lot of diversity in you can be really up close, or you can be a mid shot, or you could be a really long, wide angle shot. It just kind of depends on how you prompt it and what effect you're really going for. Let me know if that makes sense in the comments. Let me know if you have any questions about these art styles. Did you see any of this artwork earlier this week? Did you engage with it at all? Um, if you do go back and you do have questions after the live stream, just pop them in the comments on those posts. I'm definitely going to have another series that's going to come out tomorrow, but it's probably going to be a little different in terms of the art styles. Hey, Laquana, I see your comments up here finally. Any questions? I know that last week we went over close-up pictures. So this week I really focused on a lot of mid-range, medium shots, and wide-angle shots for my prompting to kind of reflect, hey, last week was close-ups. This week is more about mid, medium angle shots, wide angle shots. But next week, I probably will do some landscape so that we can reflect a lot of the wide angle and extreme wide angle drone shots. That's what I'm really going to be going for this coming week. I did post some of the waterfall images yesterday as kind of getting warmed up at dialing in some of my prompts on landscape. So you'll see some of those. I also posted a series of Louis Vuitton inspired images. Every time I tried to Google myself this week, Louis Vuitton came up first. So I was like, this is a very popular term. Let me just like play around with this in prompts. So earlier I was talking with Dominique, and shout out to him. I wonder if you guys might be interested in that as a prompt that I share within the groups. What do you think about that? Let me know in the comments. Make sure to show you guys Lou some love. I appreciate the support is appreciated. I know the engagement has been crazy, and so I'm a little slow at getting back to everybody on their comments, but I'm definitely going back and answering questions in the comments. DM wise, I probably am not going to be available this week because I'm going to be working on some other content for you guys. I do have some, I got some stuff to talk about. Laquana, this week, can you and I plan to try and put together a back-to-back live stream, maybe on Thursday, where we talk about content creation specifically and some of the tools for content creation, because things are getting ready to change with the Sora app dropping, and I think it would really be good for the community that is trying to develop some engagement and unique content to their brand. I think it would really be good for us to touch on that. I'm definitely open to doing a back to back where Q maybe goes over some of the tools and I can go over some of the editing tips and tricks on how to push out some fairly quick content. Um, Let me know if that's something that you guys might be interested in. What else? So far, just a quick recap, we went over two different art styles that I highlighted this week. One, I went through the myth. I shot a bunch of content for on Monday. I did drop a couple of reels that highlighted some of the myth punk art style. Here are some of the things that it incorporates. It will blend basic elements of mythology, folklore, fantasy, oftentimes with punk. So some of the things that you'll come across with the subjects within just the art style by itself, just in general, you'll come across a rebellious, individualistic person who may or may not be critiquing social norms. Um, this style, I get a lot of diversity and inclusivity, which is something that I aim to push in my art. So it really showcases very well a unique way of enhancing voices. This may be a way that you can reflect that in your art without having to prompt a lot of words, just putting it in the style of myth punk. And then in parallel, I talked a lot about the other real big batch of content that I repurposed this week and talked about the Frostpunk style. So a lot of you may or may have not seen this style once before. I will definitely shoot some video content this week surrounding Frostpunk and whatever style that I highlight this week. With Frostpunk, it is really a steampunk inspired art style surrounded around survivalistic, post apocalyptic, um, frozen world kind of art style. It really does have a lot of Victorian era or industrial style machinery behind it. So it's really geared towards the main subject being uh, destitute for supplies or whatever you want to prompt. Really, honestly, um, something that you'll see is a lot of moral, ethical decision making for the main subject, which is how I use it. I'll use that play on emotions, if you will, um, to capture the viewer's attention. And so a lot of times when I fused the two styles together, it really enhances what I'm trying to convey. Um, and that really depends on how you're prompting it. But you have more of an effective way to capture a viewer's attention, create some engagement. And if you pair that with a really good caption, very short, sweet, to the point, that's another way that you can amplify your content by one, capturing them with the visuals and then capturing them with a really, really engaging caption. Short, sweet, to the point, not a whole long paragraph. If you want to really get them to maybe stop, think, and answer and engage, I have found that if you pair those two things together, it'll kind of kickstart things. Plus, it gives you really an opportunity to be flexible within your prompt because you're using the two art styles to do the heavy lifting, if you will. You then can to describe everything else. You can describe their emotion. You can describe, hey, what are they feeling? What are they seeing? What are they experiencing? What kind of decision are they going to have to make? Are we trying to get our viewer to feel a certain kind of way? Last week was Valentine's Day, so a lot of the imagery that I posted was all about love. I was trying to inspire the emotion of love through the imagery of the artwork, but then paired with a really good caption. So let me know if that makes sense in the comments. I'm just gonna look back here and just see if there are any new comments. Hey Jacqueline, thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Thank you, Q, for the stars. I very much appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Um, while both of these styles have very distinct characteristics and themes, they both really offer unique opportunities and compelling experiences that challenge conventional thought processes. So for me, I really challenge you to play around with the rest of the prompt and say in the style of Mythpunk fused with Frostpunk or however you want to word it, but really try these out with conveying a strong message and let those two things within the prompt do the heavy lifting where you can really then focus on the rest. And Easter products right now, definitely. I got a whole series that's already done that I've been sitting on since December that I'm just already pre-scheduled out. It's already ready to go. So yeah, definitely I encourage everybody to get on these holidays ahead of time. Also, how are you going to capture that engagement? How are you going to stimulate that? Really do some hard guerrilla marketing, but how do you stimulate the engagement ahead of time when the holidays a month from now? This is a really good opportunity to dial in those prompts and dial in the skill of how to evoke emotion in your artwork so that that artwork then does the heavy lifting for you once you get in the feed. Because hey, I ain't gonna lie, it's very competitive in terms of who is getting attention, who is getting the actual engagement. It's crazy. It's wild. And so really focus in this week on how do you convey that within the prompt so that the artwork does the heavy lifting for you guys. Okay. Any questions on these two art styles? And then I want to kind of get away from this scripted stuff and have a real conversation about some things. Let me give you guys an opportunity. I just want to say thank you to everybody who popped in today. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much. It's been a very, very busy week. I am so excited after watching the Sora come out. Um, I honestly, I think that it's just going to entirely change content forever. I don't think there's a way that they can put a lid on this at a later date. It's kind of wild. Um, for those who may not know what Sora is, um, OpenAI and Sam Altman have released a text to video program called Sora, Sora. I will, after the live stream, I'll pin it in the groups. I'll pin a video that I watched from a very reputable YouTube um, individual, both about content and uh, editing and equipment and new programs. And so I'll share the I'll share the video that I got this morning from a fellow friend who he is a really, really talented um, digital marketing person as well as a designer, graphic designer. And even he was like, yo, this is going to change everything forever. It's never going to be the same. This is like going to open it wide up for anybody who wants to make content. This makes it really easy. So the same way that I'm stressing, you really got to learn how to engineer these prompts right now, because once Sora comes out and you're able to text to video generate what you want, you then are wide open on short form, long form, short film, Pixar film, uh, whatever kind of media you want to put out then. And then it's all about your editing style. I know there's one member in the group that I'm really, really, really looking forward to seeing what her content looks like. And her name is Toy. Um, I will get Toy pinned in the groups, just but her reels and short films are, man, her editing style is phenomenal. So I encourage you guys to really explore this week, prompting and dialing in how you describe things. Go grab the thesaurus if you need to. Grab the dictionary if you need to. Ask Chat GPT for, hey, give me 5 new adjectives for today, just to learn some new ways to describe your prompts. Um, I really encourage you guys to do that, because as things progress with Sora, as well as the other apps, you're really in control of your content destiny going forward. I talk a lot about engagement and engaging with your community and building your community and growing together. It is going to be so imperative that we all work and grow together and utilize each other as resources. Hey, if it's not your strong suit to come up with prompts, hey, it might be worthwhile for you to pay somebody to. If you need a class or a tutorial on how to do it, maybe ask that person to put on a class, or um, offer to pay them in whatever your specialty is. Hey, let's barter services. I really encourage you guys to start working together, because it's going to get to going super fast here very, very, very quickly. So I am definitely available as a resource. I am trying to drop more things in the group that are prompt really related. Make, how do you break down said prompt? How did I use this prompt and this style in this way? I'm really trying to every Sunday share style, lighting technique, camera setting, prompt structure, something so that we can really skills these skills that are going to be so important going forward, with AI just not slowing down and not showing any signs of relenting in terms of putting trades and individuals who have gone to school for a degree that they just became obsolete. It's really going to be important that we dial in and work together as a community and try not to leave anyone behind. But it really depends on the individual putting forth the effort to learn these systems. And I know it's really hard to keep up with, but man, it's moving fast. It's moving fast. I feel like I just started learning animation, and now with Sora, that's kind of gonna be almost obsolete. I won't need one prompt for 7 seconds versus one prompt for a minute. That can fill in for content. I could use it for stock footage for another person's project. I could put together a unique, specific set of video for a potential client. There's so many applications that you can do with this. And for anybody who's a YouTuber, man, it's game changing. This changes how you're going to be able to create your own content, how to come up with new concepts, how to um, really take advantage of. Hey, I just don't. I live in a place in the world where I can't go outside and shoot springtime footage because it's Chicago in January or February and it's snowing here and it's freezing here, but I need some footage for a project today. This is really going to give you an opportunity to do those things now. So I'm excited about it, but I'm also kind of worried for the small creator who just got started, who's not quite at that point yet. So I really want to focus on the if you learn how to prompt, I don't think you'll get left behind at a the same rate as somebody who doesn't know how to do it. Somebody who doesn't know how to do it, they're going to have to pay for it, and it's only going to get more and more expensive, in my opinion. Um, Again, these are just my opinions. I'm very excited about it, and I don't want to scare anybody in my take on things, but I think that focusing on how to generate our own style, how to make it easier to do by using art styles to reflect a lot of what our prompt needs to reflect. I think that's really going to be key going forward. So, anybody got any questions or any feedback? I'm just looking back through the comments. I see that seeing some new faces pop on. So just thank you for being here. Again, my name is Lewis. I am the airbrush artist over at Martial Artistry. I do this live stream every Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern. I usually try to go for about an hour to maybe an hour and a half, depending on what's going on. I want to apologize again for last feed, but I really did get an opportunity to learn something new on the editing side. So thank you guys for sticking with me last week and for coming back this week. I really, really, really appreciate you guys. Um, I have a bunch of new content that's going to be coming out, but I want to highlight a couple of upcoming holidays that I would like to kick around some ideas for within the groups. I know within the Unleashed AI Creativity group, I'm going to plan to do a challenge for Women's History Month in March. I want to highlight some of our women throughout history that have changed the way that we're able to function day to day. I think it would be a really fun and engaging challenge for everybody. But I think that I would like to pair mine that's in the Unleashed AI group with posting it outside of the group as well. Um, that way we can take advantage of each other outside of the group and engage outside of the group. I want to help everybody monetize as best as we can, but the best way that I can help others on the main feed is to engage with their content outside of the private group. If you want to create that engagement, we're going to have to post it outside of the group. So I want to be able to comment and share and maybe potentially make this challenge go somewhat viral in the AI community. So I am definitely going to be reaching out to the heads of some of the other groups within this next week to see if we collectively, as all of the AI groups and Afrocentric groups and AI for the culture and all of the group heads, I would love to reach out to all of them this week and see how many of the groups we can get on board for just all of March, just going absolute ham with history. Women's history is important for us because they're one of the marginalized groups. Um, I think it's important for us to highlight those groups as their months come up during the year. this is a way for us creatively to spread some awareness, create some engagement, and have a little bit of fun at the same time. I know every year I end up learning something new. Um, the most recent airbrush project that I just kind of shared is a project that I did last year also. Last year, I painted Rihanna on an 11 by 14 canvas. This year, I'm painting her with another, at least one subject. I'm not sure. I might end up doing a second subject at the top on the left hand side, but it's going to be a 12 by 24 metal panel. It will be something that is available for sale for anyone who's. It's really around Rihanna because she was at that point the youngest female black billionaire that is not tethered to an actual business. Like, I thought that was really just something incredible, and she just continues to just break records. And um, she's somebody, I'm a fan of Rihanna, so I started another piece of artwork in preparation for Women's History Month because I'm going to unveil it when it's finished and hopefully have it done in the next 2 weeks. So um, I want to do something similar within the groups, and I'm hoping that the group heads will respond and want to participate. If not, we'll do it in the Unleashed AI group, um, and go from there. But I definitely want to see you guys engaging outside of the groups. I think that'll help give each of us an opportunity to monetize by creating, you know, the engagement, pushing each other's reach by sharing each other's content. This is really going to help us get to that next level collectively together so that nobody gets left behind. So it's going to be important to actually hit like. No matter how many times you see that same group member's piece of content, continue to hit like, continue to comment, continue to engage with it. If you can share it and you like it and share it. Um, I've started to share people's content on my page as well, trying to definitely share my community with everybody else that puts out great art. So I definitely want to encourage everybody to continue to share outside the groups. Um, Upcoming holidays. We got St. Patrick's Day coming up here in a couple weeks. We got Women's History Month coming. Spring is a real good opportunity for you to create a lot of content. There are a lot of different things that you can do, especially with all of the different places that you live in the world and how the season will change. You can take advantage of that within your artwork. Try prompting your city and core at the end. So I tried Hawaii core because I'm here in Hawaii, and it gave me a whole like art style of its own. And I was able to go back in and prompt subtle changes and subtle details that I wanted to add in. I would also encourage you to take advantage of the changing of the seasons in trying to connect with your own community. This is going to be a real good opportunity to offer a sale. This will be a good opportunity to, hey, let's shift gears from a little slower content to a little faster content. Um, it's a good opportunity to talk about growth. It's a good opportunity to reflect on, hey, how did we do during the first quarter? Are there is there room for improvement? What are the things that I did well? This is a real good opportunity, and I know a lot of people talked about their New Year's resolutions. This is a good opportunity at the 3 month mark to reflect on, how did the first quarter go? What are my goals for the second quarter? I can tell you, for myself personally, I intend on putting out a lot more content so that I can reach a lot more people and share a lot more about prompting and content. And I know that I will be doing a lot more content surrounded around converting images into video. As Sora comes out, it will mean that you're going to have to transition to from generating images to generating video. Organically, that's just going to be the natural evolution of things. So you're going to have to learn a very generic way of editing, and you don't want to lose all of the content that you already have and all of those images that you've already created. Those are great opportunities to go back all the way to the beginning if you so choose and format all of those in video format and maybe potentially highlight some art styles that are favorites of yours and begin to combine those together in the text to video um, technology. Something that I'm gonna play around with over the course of the next month after Sora. Well, whenever Sora comes out, that is my plan. I think that is a really good tool, and I'm so excited about it. But until it comes out, I'm going to be focusing in on how my prompts are going to be more effective. So I'll be playing with a lot more of these art styles in this way to figure out, hey, is this effective? Is this effective with this other art style from the last week? Hey, can I start to combine some of these art styles in a way that gives us video imagery that nobody else has seen or made or heard of because we're generating it out of our minds. So I hope that makes sense. I saw some comments. What's up, Shantae? How you doing, bro? Vanette, yeah, you've done that. Yes, hey, they are gonna do images to video also. There, that technology is currently available. Um, but not in this capacity. They're talking about up to a minute on Sora. So from 0 to 60 seconds worth of clean, like high quality footage. The samples that I saw, man, that's it's gonna be game changing. But it also depends on your text prompt input. So it's really gonna be again important to learn the skill of prompt engineering and coming up with keywords and terms that are specific to you and your style and what you want to come up with. So I hope that over the course of the next couple months that you take just as much time that as what you're doing with posting the images, spend some of that time on how did we get those images and what are some other ways that we can come up with prompts and figure out what styles really reflect what our brands want to reflect. That will make it an easier trio, the text to video format. Once we get to there, then you're going to be, how do I clip this video with this next video? And I need enough stock footage over my own footage to be able to create a short piece of content, whether it's 15 seconds or it's 15 minutes or it's an hour and a half, whatever that looks like for you. That skill of being able to prompt it because the technology is there is going to make your life so much easier versus actually having to go out and find free stock footage sites, sort through, see if there's a really diverse amount of footage surrounded around whatever you want to convey. I also would encourage you to start working on your storytelling skills. That's really going to be important in the video aspect of things as well as in the photo image generation, but in the video you're going to really want to focus in on your video visual storytelling. It's a little different, a way to reflect how does the subject look, what emotion are they trying to convey versus in a moving video. Now you're the director. Now the way the video goes and how the video goes and what the feel and what the vibe, tempo, speed, music, sound, all of that will then be on your plate. It's a big generating photos to put onto to items or products. Now you're in a more production mindset. And so I really want to be here to help everybody through that transition. I understand it's going to be a little bit of a shift, but I am here to remind you that I'm still a resource. If you need help with the video editing or how to CapCut or Lightcut or whatever program you're using on the go to do mobile editing, I want to just remind you I am here to be a resource. I'm here to answer questions. We do have a playlist that's an ongoing playlist. I added an additional playlist on my YouTube channel that will have our Sunday live streams. I did not include last week's. I'm going to skip last week because we had so many technical difficulties. But after the stream today, I will go back and add that in so that you guys can kind of go back and watch that at your leisure. I have the playlist that's pinned in both the AI Visionaries group as well as in the Unleashed AI Creativity group. I am putting those groups in the chat for you so that you've got access to those. If you're not already involved with either of those, we invite you to please definitely come join. If you see somebody on the feed in the comments that you're not already following, definitely please tap in with them as well and show them some support and show them some love. Follow them, definitely engage with their content. These are things that I'm really pushing for within the groups. I see a good evening, everyone. It says Facebook users, so I don't see who that is. I see the hearts. Thank you so much. Any questions? I'm going to do a quick recap just so we're all on the same page, just in case anybody missed anything. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and drop them in the chat. And I'm just going to do a quick recap on the two art styles before we get out of here. So the first style that we covered is the Mythpunk art style. I did post it in the comments. It is one that I used on this past Monday. Oh, what's good, Dominique? Thank you, bro. I used Mythpunk on Monday for Mythpunk Mondays this last week. You'll see a variety of different images. The mythology, folklore, fantasy with punk. It does a really good job of conveying diversity, inclusivity, and reflecting the voices of those who may be marginalized. I use this style a lot to convey a really strong sense of emotion. I also pair that with the other style that we went over today, one that I've highlighted before, but it's a oldie but goodie. So the second style is Frostpunk. I did also put that in the chat. It is an art style that is steampunk inspired, but it focuses really a lot on survivalistic, frozen, um, post-apocalyptic style world. You'll see a lot of industrial equipment, things that reflect scarcity, if you will. Uh, it really focuses on ethical and moral dilemmas in terms of the art style itself. So, by me fusing those two art styles together, I'm able to convey a lot within just the art style itself versus using a lot of words to prompt that same feeling, if you will. So I use those two styles in my prompts to dial in the emotion feeling in the imagery. So this is going to be a really good way for you to reflect personal views, brand views, values, ethics, morals without doing a lot of prompting and just using the hey in the style of Mythpunk or Frostpunk or whatever the art style is that you would like to use. I will say something that I found this last week, and maybe that's what I'll do tomorrow. I think tomorrow I will highlight the style mass surrealism. Let me put that in the chat so you guys can play around with it. This is going to be the style that I'm going to do for Monday. I'm I can tell you that I have already fused mass surrealism with Mythpunk and got great results. So it might be something to give you a jump start on a new style, a new way of conveying that emotion, and a unique way of meshing a new style of art. I would also encourage you to try other art styles that you've already found before now that are really your top, hey, three. Start to add these in with your top three art styles. So here, I'll put this in the chat, but what I will say in a prompt is in the style of Mythpunk, Frostpunk, and mass surrealism combined or fused. Just depends on how you want to convey it. Like that's just a way that I will put them to a really good unique result out of just the styles so that I can really be more flexible on the main subject with the rest of the prompt. I don't have to do a lot of typing for the art style because the combination of the three will do the heavy lifting. I can then focus on the rest of the prompt being for the subject or the lighting or where are they? Are they is this going to be more towards Frostpunk or is it going to be more towards mass realism? That's where you really got to kind of play with the prompts and dial in. So those are the two art styles from this week. I don't see any questions in the chat, so I'm not gonna hold y'all. Um, this has been a really fun episode this week. It has been brought to you by Martial Artistry, where you can find all of your canvas needs. Custom water bottles are coming, and we're going to be doing some metal artwork as well as we're getting back into airbrushing. If you haven't already, definitely give us a follow. If you got some value out of this feed, definitely hit like, share it with somebody else who might get some value out of this. I will definitely pin them. I'll pin the video both to the groups in the featured section, and I will also leave it pinned on my page so that's pretty easy for you to find if you want to watch it later in the week. I've found that, hey, when I want to go back and watch a video on a said content creator's page, if it's pinned on their page, I'll be able to go back and pick it up right where I left off. So if you're at work watching and you get interrupted, or you're on break, or you're at lunch, or in your car listening, whatever that looks like, definitely remember that I've got these pinned to my page so you can always come back and find them. I appreciate you guys all for showing up this week. I got some goodies coming up. I hope you got some value out of this. And if you have questions, you can always leave it in the comments. Otherwise, I've got the one-on-one slots that are available for you guys. They're in 30-minute sessions, so they're pretty reasonably priced if you're interested in learning more about the prompting or want to pick my brain about how I made an image or any of that kind of stuff. Content, questions, video editing questions, all of that stuff. You can definitely get a hold of me. You can shop any of our products that are constantly being updated to our website at martialartistry.com. Other than that, I appreciate y'all. Y'all have been great all week, and I really look forward to dropping some of this new art. Definitely art that everyone has missed. I want to make sure that I'm able to answer questions on all of that content. If you have questions, just drop it in the comments and I definitely will get back to you. Aside from that, I wish you guys an awesome week. I hope you guys hit all of your goals this week. And if anything, you already know what it is. I'll holla. Peace.